Marcus Guiliano here, business author, speaker, Forbes Business Council contributor, and fellow restaurateur. So I'm going to talk today about a massively important subject. I'm going to tell you what I do with this because it's really super important. This can make or break your business, right? What I'm going to tell you right here can make or break your business. I'm going to give an example, and the reason I'm doing this is because I just read something today on a forum on one of the groups that I belong to, one of the restaurant groups that I belong to, and I feel for the lady. And there's not much that she can, I mean, there is something that she can do, and we'll talk about what she can do, but as far as the circumstances or the elements of this, she's bound to these circumstances. And this all happens when you buy a restaurant, when you sell a restaurant, when you train your staff. I even take it as far as when I have staff on board in my restaurant. Okay, so let me read this comment and we'll jump in. Let me find it here. So this lady posts, we purchased a sports bar back in July. This is just this past July. The guy we got it from had the original owner in a non-compete clause for 2 years. Non-compete basically means that when you buy a restaurant from somebody, the owner can't go out there and compete in your market for a certain amount of time. I think 2 years is way too short, personally. Way too short. It's my personal opinion. I think 5 years or more. And I even think that you can even make this non-compete clause where, you know, he can never do something while you're open within 10 miles or something. Even for 2 years is not too long. So she bought it from a guy who bought it from another guy, all right? So now time's up. So the 2 years is up now. That means this is the third owner in 2 years, and the non-compete clause is expired. She goes, so the original owner comes into the restaurant and, and wasn't happy with something. He wanted to be served 20 minutes early, and, he knows the hours since he created them. He goes out and revamps his entire business, and he reveals the menu today. So he has a restaurant down the street. So he reveals the menu today, and it's an exact copy of what they bought. Obviously, he knows the recipe since he established them. What do you think in a situation like that? Change the menu items on our menu to improve upon things. His place is going to be newer, and people love the charm of a new place in town. Plus additional games we have no room for. So basically, the original owner knows all the recipes, knows everything. It was his place, and now he's revamping his place down the street, or has a place on the street that he's making his identical to his first place. So this poor lady bought this back in July, and now she's like, oh my gosh, like, what do I do? So legally there's really not much you can do in this situation, because it's a 2-year non-compete clause. The guy is 2 years now, he can compete, he can be back in the market and competing as far as that level. As far as what can she really do, I mean, there's a lot of things that she can really do. One of my suggestions is understanding that before I talk about marketing and stuff like that, here's the value when you sell a restaurant. Here's the value of a restaurant. The value goes in the database. And I talk about a database. I talk about a database extensively in my book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make. And this book is free, by the way. Lavinia, if you can drop the link, Lavinia's going to drop a link where you can get this. Lavinia built an amazing site on one of our platforms. You can get this book for totally free. So go online, grab that totally free. You just pay the shipping for it, a few bucks for shipping, but the books are here ready to go. And my number one step in here is how to build a database. The database is your most important or valuable part of your business. It's the number one asset that any business can have, is their database. So when he bought the original restaurant from this owner, part of the sale, if I were to buy, let's just say if I were to buy a restaurant from somebody or any business from somebody, and they said, I'm doing $500,000 in business, or I'm doing $5 million in business, I would say, let me see your database. Let me see your mailing list. You used to call it a mailing list. Your mailing list basically is what it is. Can I see your mailing list? Who are your customers? Who are your guests? Who are you taking money from? Who are you communicating to? That right there is crucial, because, for example, if I were to sell my restaurant here and I signed a 10-year non-compete clause within 10 miles, okay, or however long, I would have 10,000 people that I could email in 10 years or 5 years or whatever. Just keep emailing them and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm not competing. Hey, I'm over here. I'm doing this. I'm doing wine vacations, and keep them engaged for a certain amount of time. Then when it's time for me to open my restaurant, say, hey, I'm open again. Come support me. Come see me. This is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. That's 10,000 people that have personally have known me, have come into my business, and hopefully will support me again. Now, on the flip side, when you buy a restaurant, you want to ask for the database. You want to say, where's the database? Show me the database. That's part of the blue sky, right? People say, oh, you're paying for blue sky. You're paying for the revenue. The revenue's in the mailing list. And the more you work the mailing list, the more you work the list, the more revenue you build. It's as simple as that. Work the list, get sales. Work the list, get sales, okay? We sold our next wine trip through working our list of our contacts. We weren't starting over again. It was a matter of using the list of people that do business with us. And if you're on our list, you got an email today. So there's, and I can talk about, I can do a whole day workshop on emails and database and this and that. It really gets in depth. So for this poor lady, hopefully she got a list somewhere along the line. If she bought this restaurant, hopefully somebody handed her a list and said, here's 5,000 people that we've communicated with. And now she needs to now start working that list extra hard. She needs to, really hit the list. As Grant Cardone says, hit the list, hit the list. If she doesn't have a list, if you don't have a list, go to step 1 here and start building a list. And how you build a list is you put a comment card out. You have a virtual sign up. There's so many ways to build a list, and you build a list in many different forms. It's not just email anymore. It's just not mailing list. You can build a list on, as far as text message, you can do text message marketing. You can build a list in an actual snail mail, which I love snail mail, and you send a 6x9 color postcard. If any of you are listening here and you've gotten a postcard from us before for your birthday or something, drop a comment, because we send out postcards, 6x9 full color postcards, personalized. So text message, snail mail. Email's a great way to market, right? Not many good open rates, but it's very ineffective. It's very cheap. It's very, very cheap. It's very cost effective is what I meant to say. Very cost effective. Messenger bots, build the list, build a messenger bot list. Okay, so just because you're grabbing somebody's information, don't get as much information as you possibly can from them and build your list. You want to keep working that list in different angles. So now, I would recommend following, and I was just reading this book this morning. I've dived into this book before called Blue Ocean, and it talks about blue ocean strategy, about you want to create something that's different than what other people are doing. You want to, and she said she's in a small town, and we're in a small town too. So every time a new restaurant opens in town here, you feel it because people are going to the other restaurant. And then all of a sudden it'll level out in a while, and you'll get your business back. But in the beginning, it's like, well, everybody's at this new restaurant. That's what's going on. Everyone wants to try a new restaurant. So create a strategy that makes it very unique. That there's some kind of uniqueness to what you're doing, which brings people in. And you're going to have to, if they're running the same menu as you, this and that, you're going to have to promote. You're going to have to be a marketing maniac. I mean, you're going to really need to build a list through Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger marketing would be the first place that I would go. You're going to have to start doing good lead magnets, giving stuff away for free to get people in. Buy one, get one. Get a website. I've not looked at this lady's website and things like that, but you can grab people on your list off your website, give them an offer, do a buy one, get one. If you're launching a new menu item, let's say for example, you're going to launch a new meatloaf on your menu, and it's smoked meatloaf or just regular meatloaf. You want to do a meatloaf night where you're going to blanket the list, hit the list, and tell everybody, hey, come in for free and try our new meatloaf. You're only going to give them a sample, by the way. And you might be standing at the front door or outside or in your back garden or somewhere. You're not going to give them a full meatloaf entree. You're going to let them try your new meatloaf. So hit the list. Do Facebook marketing. And Facebook marketing is awesome, by the way. I love the way you can really hone into your custom audiences, your lookalike audiences, actions, behaviors. It's amazing what you can do with Facebook. And so advertise on there. Use your pixel through your audience with Facebook, your pixel that's on your website through your fan page. And give away meatloaf to every single person. The name of the game is get people in the door. Get them in the door, then get them on the list and keep marketing to them. So those two things right there. Create something that's unique. Think about how you can do something better. So for us, here's a great example for me at my restaurant. So here's how we do something better. Everybody on our block here offers wines by the glass. All right. And some places offer nicer wines. We offer nicer wines. There's maybe another restaurant in town that offers nicer wines. So now for us, how do we get to the next level of offering a good wine by the glass? So for us personally, now we offer wines by the glass that we've personally visited the vineyard. Yes, Spain, Italy, California, New York State. We now offer most of our wines. We're switching all over in 2019 to every house pour, every glass of wine we pour means 5 whites, 5 reds, and the rosé, and including the cava, the prosecco, and champagne, because we're trying to get a trip to Champagne going. We're going to be able to say there's a story in every glass of wine here, because we've been to every vineyard. See, that's how you differentiate yourself. You do something different to the next level, above and beyond, and that's sort of talks like blue ocean strategy. You make it more appealing for your guests. You make something different. You make something, and I would suggest every business owner read that blue ocean strategy. It is amazing. Really, really amazing. Jackie says, I got postcards. Jackie gets postcards from us. Diane says, I get the bot messages. Diane, reader, she gets the bot messages. So yeah, so that's what I would do if I was this person. It's a very tough situation to have fallen into, where this guy's now opening a restaurant and competing. I feel really bad, but you gotta focus and go forward, and maybe you might want to change the menu and change the theme and kind of do something. It's going to be tough to try to compete with the same exact thing, especially if this guy has more room and has more room for games and things like that. So you might want to consider doing something. But you want to, when you do it, hit the list. Let the list know. Maybe get feedback from the list, right? So that's it. Everybody, thank you for watching. Appreciate it. And we'll talk to you later.